you can't get to it. You have to get into the cockpit, and there's other stuff in the way, and more stuff in the way. So in a normal scenario, they're setting that and then building the rest of the car. So it's not something that, again, going forward, that's not something that Red Bull was using actively in their car. And Red Bull's the only team to have said that they were using to have that technology. I don't think anyone else. It's like no one actually used that bib changing technology at all. So again, we've got basically 20 turns on this track. There's a lot of curves, particularly in the back end of that track. We're using, let me see, the tire components are C4, C3, C2. So C2 being the hardest, and C4 being the softest. So we're in the middle three compounds for COTA this weekend. And then moving on, basically the weather is going to be pretty much dry. I mean, Austin's in the middle of basically where Austin is pretty much the Texas desert for the most part. There's not a lot around COTA. It's flat. That was one of the things when I left Texas, when I went north to one of my positions that I've worked in. I left Texas. I drove north, and the first thing when I got out of Texas, I knew I was not in Texas anymore because I was in the hills of Oklahoma. So. How many new updates are being tested? I know there's a couple teams who have brought they've brought upgrades, and I just off the top of my head I don't remember who and what those upgrades are. If you go to like F1 Unchained, basically I know they have a video for every race. I haven't seen their video, so that's an oddity on my part. I usually post that video into our Discord channel. And that's something. Let's see. Where's our Discord? I don't have the list of the Discord channel at the moment, but basically at some point in chat, the bot's going to post a link to our Discord, and we've been actively over the past break talking about a whole sort of different things. Anthony John's first look at Lawson and can't wait. Yeah, that's one of the other stories is that Daniel Ricciardo has been replaced by Liam Lawson. Just look through. I don't think there's anyone this weekend who's in for free practice. Yeah, there's no one in for free practice this weekend. There will be next weekend at Mexico City. There will be drivers in for free practice one. We know the most notable one is that Pato Award, the McLaren's IndyCar driver, will be in at Mexico City next weekend. So that will be something for you guys to keep an eye on. Again, we are in a triple header right now. This is the first leg of our triple header. Got people calling out for let's go Max. Another interesting is that Haas. So Toyota is back in F1 with Haas, and one of the McLarens is coming out. Black is green, so we are now in a green light scenario. And that is Lando out, followed by Alonso, Stroll, Ocon. So, and this is to be expected. A lot of them are coming out now because, again, this is the only practice they have this weekend. So this is what we're going to see is basically who's. I mean, what we're looking for is who's got their act together right away, who's not. Kill on cue. Am I wait? You miss it? No, you haven't missed anything. It is just starting right now. Everyone is seems like everyone. We're getting close to almost. We've got 14 cars out on track, 15 cars out on track. Colapino is coming out as well. And where is Heinz and Hulkenberg? And Lawson's not out on track yet. So the last three we have not is Tsunoda, Zhou, and Lawson are the last three to exit the pits at this point. They have not yet. Sorry, they have not exited the pits. So 17 cars on track. Again, the other ongoing stories again is between Lando and Max. Lando has a chance. It's possible that he could overtake Max for the drivers' championship. But it's going to be tough. He's got to earn like more than 9 points each race. In the last race, Singapore, Daniel Ricciardo basically took the fastest lap, and denied that from Lando, and that was important because that basically meant pretty much if Lando wins every single race and Max takes second in every single race going forward, and basically Max would win the championship by like 1 point. So at that 1 point was actually a big deal in a mathematical calculation. So it gives Max just more of an edge over Lando. So, but like one DNF from say Max puts that like really, really close. Looking at what you guys are talking about, people are going for Checo, for Ferrari, for George, Fernando. We've got people for Carlos. Again, Lando's the first one out on track, so he's going to be setting purple sectors by default. And right now, we've got Lando on basically his first lap. He's going to come to the start-finish line. And we now have all of the cars on track. Lawson, Tsunoda, and Zhou just exited the pit lane. So Lawson has come around. He's on potentially a flying lap now. So times are going to start populating the board. They're going to come pretty quick and fast over the next minute or so. Again, this is early in the session, so people are getting set up. Don't be surprised if people come into the pits right away. So again, we've got Ocon right now leading with Bottas second, Norris third. Sainz just jumped to the first, and these times are going to jump around for a while right now. Nicholas Perez points out that McLaren deserves as constructor, given where they were last year and where they are now. Is like they were nowhere near the constructors last year, and this year, they're challenging Red Bull, and they're now leading. Albon just set a time. Yeah, that was P4. Now it's P5. Hamilton just jumped to the top. Russell just did better. So we've got Russell, Hamilton, Sainz, Ocon, Bottas, Albon in the top 6 at the moment. Max has just crossed. He's gone to the top of the board as well. Sun Scout pointing out, Pinto will love getting used to this track. Yeah, I mean this is a track built for F1. I mean, like the history of the course is basically that basically the designers of the track sat down, like, the founders and the designers of the track basically were like, what do we want in a track? a dedicated circuit for like F1, and basically worked on a napkin and drew out the course. Having said that, Lawson just went to P8, now P9. Now that Leclerc has gone to P1, so a P8, a P9 right now for Lawson. Again, he's on everyone, but I think Bottas and Zhou are on medium. So Bottas is on mediums, and Zhou is on hard. Zhou is on soft. My apologies. And then everyone else is on a hard tire. What is Parc for me? So after a qualification session, basically the cars are locked down for further changes, and basically we're using the French term. Basically, Parc fermé is the French term to say that the cars are basically are locked down in that regards. Again, Parc is the French spelling with the C, and then fermé being hard. So it's a hard set. So basically, again, the idea is the idea is that you set up the car for quality, and that doesn't change from the qualification to the race itself. So what will happen again later today? We will have the sprint race qualifications, and the cars overnight will go into Parc Fermé for the sprint race in the morning, and then tomorrow after the race, the cars will be opened up for changes, and that's new this year with the sprints. Last year it was a different. I'll go over that in 1 second. Then we'll go through the Grand Prix qualifications, and overnight the cars will be in Parc Fermé again for the Grand Prix. Norris 0.001 behind Leclerc. That's a 136.725. Again, 0.001. Not a tenth, not a hundredth, but a thousandth difference between Leclerc and Norris. Again, we've got a couple people hopping on the board. Gasly just jumping up to 6th. Arcon jumping up to 4th. Sainz jumping up to 1st. He's half a second ahead of his teammate. 0.584 specifically. And Leclerc improved. Perez up to P4 right now. A 0.6 off of Sainz's time. So that's several in the 136 already. We got people cheering for the Ferrari boys. And then Oscar just jumped to P9. Russell just jumped to P1, and he's in the 135. 135.860. So he did a little more than a quarter second, specifically 0.28 faster than Sainz's time. And this is times you're going to tumble like this throughout the whole session. They should. Liam Lawson doing great for his full F1 debut. I mean, technically, this is not his debut. He did debut technically, he debuted last year in replacement for Ricciardo while he was injured. But this is now in his. So he is in the. So this is what's going on with. This is another crazy story. So Liam is in the car is replacing Ricciardo for the rest of the season, so the next 6 races. He has not been confirmed for the V carb technically has a seat open, but really what everyone has been reporting is that this is not about him to take that open seat, but it is about him potentially being the replacement for Checo in the Red Bull team. That's what a lot of people are saying at the moment. Is he good enough to replace Checo? And if he can, they'll make that move. Ricciardo was supposed to be like potentially that replacement, but he never came forward and performed at all. Now we have a yellow flag at sector 1. Let's see if it resolves. And it's it was one of the McLarens going off the track, and it's now resolved to a green flag. I don't expect. So I know I am the harbinger of red flags, and I've joked about that. I actually don't expect to see a red flag today at this track. Part of it is that the track has wide room for it. It's forgiving. Like if you go off track, you can get back on. It's not a big deal. It's not a unforgiving track. There's no walls. Like Singapore was basically Monaco with with lots of walls everywhere. And even Monaco at times, if you make them, it's not forgiving. Same with Baku. And ooh, that was Pierre Gasly. Oh, that was not a McLaren. It's a Alpine dressed in, I don't, it looks like a McLaren. So that was my mistake, everyone. The Alpines look like McLarens this weekend. That's going to be fun. So looking right now. Okay, Lawson has now been dropped down to about 13th after his lap. Calpino's down around 19th right now, though Hamilton's down around 18th. Though he's on a hard tire, he may not be doing a quali run. Is really what could be we're looking at right now. He could be doing a race run at the moment, and then later on potentially do a really fast. Again, that the lap he did early on basically was great for basically for a race simulation, but not a quali simulation. So we'll see where people are at the moment. 46 minutes to go in this session, a little bit and change. We've got Verstappen, Sainz, Russell, Leclerc, Ocon at the top of the board. Norris is 6th, Perez is 7th, Albon is 8th, Stroll is 9th, Tsunoda is 10th. Again, Bottas is 14th, Oscar is 12th in that list, Lawson is 13th, Hamilton is 18th, and Colapino is 19th. Again, you're listening to the Racing Tips YouTube channel. We are in Austin, Texas this weekend. We are in the same time zone as me. Hooray. Again, I am living in the state of Texas. I work in the state of Texas. For those who don't know, I'm a professor and I teach at the college level. And there we go. There was a replay of that's Hamilton. Ooh. Hamilton looks like he hit a curb and he just spun around, spun around, spun around. One of the Haas's got a great view of that in play. And it looks like he hit a curb. Yeah, he hit a curb. It's Hamilton. He hit a curb. And that just basically lost control of the car. Yes, cars are sliding things. So this is another piece of information. Oh, 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 the Haas had a great view of Hamilton going around. Oh my God, the onboard of the Haas. Which Haas is that? But he had a front seat row, front row seat to the action of Hamilton spinning around. So this is the other thing: is that why did Hamilton spun? This track has been resurfaced, so it's relatively the surface is relatively new. It's relatively green. F1 is the only series going to be racing here this weekend. So, like again, I think there was some talk about some rain. That's going to make that surface even more green if it rains in any shape or form. Now, it, it, it there may be like a little bit of rain, but I don't think there'll be it won't be a massive rain pour. The weather hasn't been um, it's been really dry in the Texas area lately. So if there's any rain, it'll be maybe a few like a quick shower, but nothing major. But even that will wash off some of the rubber that the little bit of rubber that's on the track that it is already. So we are going to be seeing like again, we looked at Hamilton, and he basically it's amazing that he didn't hit anyone, that he lost control of the car. And wow, we're seeing Russell having a moment where he's got the car is wiggly. Snowden just jumped up to P5 as yeah, the gravel track is different. There's some they've resurfaced. They've done some more pieces. I'm trying to remember what else they've done. I know they've done some things to help with measuring track limits because that was an issue last year as well. Boss has jumped up to P6. Sainz dropped to the top of the board. He is a 135.231. We have a yellow flag. See if it resolves back to. And it's Russell who has caused the yellow flag, but he's still moving. He's just waiting for a safe spot to come back onto the track, and he does now. And so the track goes back to greens. So again, this track is forgiving. Oh, we got Pedro. Got Pedro basically doing trackside service for F1 TV, and we're going back. And what happened to Russell? Does he miss his turn? He does. He flips himself around. He goes backwards. So that's what happened with Russell. Need to get a great lap on a new set again. That's interesting. The both of the Mercedes have had issues with grip on the track this weekend already. And we're only just under 20 minutes into the session. Again, you are listening to Racing to the YouTube channel. We've had two near misses in terms of uh, in terms of red flags. Looking at, we've got a good mix of people in the pits and in on track right now. Clerk, it looks like he's starting a new flying lap. It looks like Bottas may be behind him in the turns. We'll see. Bottas is not pro. He might be on a cooldown lap. Let's take a look at Albon. He's now starting a lap. He may be on a cooldown as well. I'm not sure where Hamilton is at the moment. Hamilton actually is on an out lap at this point. He is again probably just coming from the pits. Let's see where Russell, probably on a cooldown. So Clerk is the only one right now. Clerk, Bottas is now picking up speed. So he started the lap slow. We'll see what Norris looks is on a flying lap right now. Oscar on a flying lap right now. He's got to pass Zhou and Alonso in the last two curves. Sorry, corners. Oscar's going to come up to P7. So Clerk has got some subsectors. He's got the fastest second sector right now. Norris is going to go P4. So with 20 minutes into the session right now, the Ferrari boys are looking really good. Max is looking good. Norris is looking good. Russell is looking okay. Perez is looking okay. Though Mercedes have an issue of grip at the moment. Zhou is still on track. He's done 7 laps on his soft tires. So they're looking at something. They're looking at something in terms of a race. They're looking at tire degradation definitely on those softs. Leclerc took the fastest third sector, so he had fastest sector 2, sector 3 in his lap. Didn't improve in sector 1, but that's still enough. He does a 134.966. He's the first one in the 134s. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in the 135s, and then it's from P6 through P15 in the 136, and so another whole second. So I mean, like from P1 to P20 right now is 3.5 seconds. Hamilton is 3 seconds off. Colpino is 2.7 off. So we've got a lot. Again, P1 through P14 is within 2 seconds. So it's interesting who's doing what and how right now. Game of mine. Thanks for you guys streaming race statistics. My local TV does not stream those races. Oh, that's horrible. You guys have been lifesavers. Do you not have access to F1 TV Pro? Because if you don't, that's really unfortunate. Again, if you have you have access to F1 TV Pro, it is excellent. It is probably one of the best streaming services that I use. Specifically for F1, but like every session, I get onboards for, if I wanted to go back and look at what Hamilton did, that Rooney with Hamilton, I could have gone back and looked at it through the onboard cameras. What's going on with Hamilton? He's testing something. He's not doing a quali run. He's not doing quali testing with the program he's running right now. That is pretty much obvious. He's been on those for like eight laps on those hard tires, 6 continuous laps so far. Just look at what else you guys are talking about at the moment. Yeah, the back of Hamilton's car is bottoming out. There is something's not right with this car. That's more. Yeah, they just did a replay, and he's basically the car is bouncing. It's not porpoising, jumping up and down, but it's more hits the back, and then the front comes down. It's more rocking than it is straight up and down. What is sprint qualifying? That will be later this afternoon, and I will be covering the sprint quali this afternoon. So again, one of the things that happened, again, remind you guys of what happened last year, is that after the race, Hamilton and Leclerc were disqualified because there's what they refer to as the plank, and it's part of the floor, and it's part of the internal structure of the floor. But like when the car, it's not made of wood anymore. It's actually made of I forget what it's made of. It's made of steel essentially, but it's a compound of steel. But basically, that is to protect the bottom of the car when it bottoms out essentially, and that can't wear out too much. And what happened last year was that the format last year was that we had practice, and then we had the Grand Prix quali session on Friday, and then that meant Saturday was all day. Was again Saturday morning was the sprint quali, and then Saturday afternoon was the sprint, leading right back into the race on Sunday. So basically the cars from Friday night were in Parc Fermé all the way to the Grand Prix. There was no chance. So if there was a chance to if there was a chance to change the floor, if they knew to change the floor, there was no opportunity to actually change the floor because the cars were in park fermé from. No, Ryan is not doing sprint qualifying. Sprint qualifying is this afternoon, and I'll be doing that Arsh. So again, what happened is that the cars were just basically in parc fermé from Friday night, and so there was no opportunity to check or to replace the part. And that is again one of the changes of the sprint quali this year is that it is again after practice we will have basically we have the sprint quali tonight, this afternoon, and then the sprint race tomorrow morning. And I'll be doing the sprint race, by the way. After the sprint race, the cars will be out of parc fermé. So if they saw that there was something wrong with the plank, they could change up that. They can change that piece. Tour, this is just practice. Chill out. No, dude. No. This is big deal. This is high stakes practice because this is the only practice session. So again, after this, they are basically the next session is a qualification session. So this is high stakes practice right now. Like if you've got something wrong, let's say like again, Hamilton could again. I thought that Hamilton was doing race run programs. That may not be the case. He could actually be having a problem with his car, given what I just saw a few minutes ago, where it basically back end bottomed out, and then the front end reacted and hit the front end, and the floor basically is scratching across that plank is scratching across the surface. So that is there could be something going on with Hamilton's car. Now we are 32 minutes left in this session, so we still got a lot of time. He is in the pits. A lot of people in the pits right now. And that's to be expected. So there is time for him for the team to take a look at, make adjustments, and then put him back out for the rest of this practice. Is it a whole day practice? No, this is an hour-long practice, Marvin. Again, we're about under 32 minutes left to go in this practice right now. Again, you're listening to the Racing Institute YouTube channel. This is Grash here with practice. We've seen the Mercedes do their best attempt to give me a red flag. Right now, I don't have a streak, so I'm not too worried. Thank you, Hippo, about the plank being made of permaglass, not steel. When's quali out? Well, this is a sprint weekend. Yams. So when we would normally have FP2, we are going to have the sprint quali. When we would normally have FP3 tomorrow, Saturday, is going to be the sprint race, and then we're going to go back into the normal qualifying for the Grand Prix, second session on Saturday, and then Sunday being the Grand Prix. YZ34 pointing out Toyota engine sounds decent. The Haas's are not using Toyota engines. They are still using the Ferrari engine and pieces as much. What's happened is that Toyota has signed a deal with Haas it's a technical relationship. And so that started already now. The branding of the Toyota branding is on the car. So it's a weird, Haas is this weird mix now of Ferrari engines and parts, plus the Haas team, which is actually really small, and then the Toyota partnership for technology. So. Dallara is still in the mix, Marvin. It's not. They're not. The goal will eventually. Dallara will eventually no longer be part of that tool chain with Haas. And essentially, Toyota is going to be. The goal is that Toyota will pick up pieces that Haas needs to make. The relationship with Toyota will make it so where they have to wait 2 weeks for a part from Dallara. It will be a much quicker, less like a few days, a week, half the time, at most, improvement in half the time. As we're talking right now, Max is on a screaming lap. He's got fastest sector 1, sector 2. He's coming around the last corner right now to the line, and he does a full purple lap. Sector 1, Sector 2, Sector 3, all purple. He does a 135.455. He is, oh my God, he's a second. He does a 133. Max does a 133. He's not just a second, he's a second and a tenth faster than Leclerc. Now, Sainz has just done a new lap. He's now P2. But he's still 0.86 off of Max's time. So Max is the only one in the 133s, and the best is almost 9/10 slower than him right now. Jacob, why is there only one practice session? Because we're doing a sprint weekend this weekend. So we've got this one session for practice, and then the next two sessions would normally be practice. Are now essentially the sprint quali and the sprint race itself. Perez just did P3 of 180, 8.62. Sorry. Let me sure my quality. Hey, there we go. That's better. Get a little more. There we go. So Sainz and Perez have both done the same time, so it's a 134.717. Because Perez did his time second, he is P3 opposed to Sainz being P2. So again, exact same times for Sainz and Perez. Leclerc is P4 again. He's 1.111. That's nice how that goes. He did 134.966. Again, those are the ones so we've got Max in 135. We've got Sainz, Perez, Leclerc in the 134s. Then we got Russell down through Norris in the 135s. And then we've got a lot of 136 before we get to Gasly in the 137. Gasly, Hamilton, Joe, Colapino on the 137s. So. Thank you for pointing that out. Master Kilaluki in the chat basically is pointing out that Perez and Sainz have the same time, but Sainz is on a hard tire. Leclerc did his time on a hard tire, but both Max and Perez did theirs on soft tires. So we've seen what those Red Bulls can do on soft tires. We'll see if Sainz or Leclerc later on this session come out on soft tires. Dan O'Brien in chat says Frank, talking to Frank, thinks that Toyota will own Haas in the end. That is possible. That's Toyota has been very clear about they're not looking to own a team right now. I mean, it's possible in like a few years from now. Again, what's interesting is that Gene Haas, the owner of the Haas team, has pulled out of NASCAR. The Stewart Haas team closed up shop at the end of this year. Will be closing up shop at the end of this year in NASCAR. So there is that move. Is Gene Haas getting out of motorsports? Is the good question. Paul, I was asking, it's just arrived. Is McLaren struggling or just trying race pace? I mean, they've only been on hard tires so far, so there may be. That's a good question. They're not as. I mean, Alonso just went P7. He's within a tenth of Norris. Again, right now we got 467 likes. We're close to getting 500. That helps us with the YouTube algorithm. You've not joined the channel, now's a great time to do it. We've got 131,000 plus subscribers. We're on our march to 150 right now. And we hit 100 earlier this year. And if you guys, if you're curious how we got to 100K, there's a video on the Race YouTube channel, one of the normal videos on this channel, about how we got to 100K and what things that happened along the way when we got to 100K. Looking at right now, we've got Perez on a outlap, Norris on an outlap. So pretty much everyone is on track right now. It's hard to give you guys updates. Looks like Max might be pushing at the moment. He has improved at the end of sector one. He's now fastest in sector. So he has the fastest sector one. He has improved in sector two, but it's a bit of a mixed bag. He should take. We'll see if he doesn't take sector two because he didn't. We'll see. Max has got a mixed bag in sector two at the moment. Take a look. Max doesn't improve in sector two, but he's pretty damn fast. The issue is that he has the fastest sector two already, so he didn't improve on the fastest time he's had. But it's still really fast. I mean, he did 37 seconds. That's really fast. He doesn't start sector three very well. Improves at the end of sector two. And he's going to do 133.991. So he's a tenth and a half off of his best time. But even that tenth and a half is still better than what Sainz has put up. I mean, he does a 133.991, and the best lap that Sainz has done is a 134.717. Same with Perez. So that was still a very fast lap. Don't let the board fool you. That was probably the second fastest lap today that Max has done. So got Norris and Perez somewhat improving. And Alonso on a fast lap improving. I believe Perez is going to come to the line first. He's going to go P2. He's going to do a 134.683. Again, Max's last lap, while not the fastest, still significantly faster than Perez's. So Perez is 3/4 of a second off of Max's time. And Norris does a 152 last lap. Lonzo is the one currently cooking right now. He didn't improve in sector one, but did improve in sector two. He's improving in sector three, sorta not. See where he comes around. And he's going to cross the line. And he's not going to improve his place. He does a 136.348. He stays at seventh. Max coming around after a cool down. No, he's going to come to the pits. Ocon is next. He's coming into the pits. Lawson coming around. Lawson starting a new lap. Stroll starting the lap and Sainz starting a new lap. So they've done cool down. Let's take a look at Lawson. Lawson not improving so far. Stroll also not improving. Lawson's picking up a little more speed. He's now around curve 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So Lawson doesn't improve in sector one. Same with Stroll. Sainz does not improve in sector one. He's not improving at all. Leclerc, not improving at all. Russell, not improving at all. So we got Magnussen, Norris, Hamilton, Zhou's just starting a lap, and now Hulkenberg just crossed the line. So is Perez pitting. Gasly is going to start a lap. So we'll take a look at Magnussen. Magnussen did not improve in Sector 1. Norris did not improve in Sector 1. Hamilton did not improve. Zhou did not improve. Hulkenberg, not improving. Stroll got a little bit at the end of his lap, end of Sector 1, but did not improve in Sector 2 at all. He's not improving at all. Take a look at Lawson. He might be, this might be another cool down lap unless he comes in. And Lawson and Stroll are going for another lap. Here comes Sainz. Sainz is pitting. I suspect Leclerc will probably pit too. No, Leclerc's not pitting. He's going around for another lap. Here comes Russell. Russell's coming around for another lap. So Lawson still not getting any improvement in Sector 1. Stroll, same thing. Clerk, no improvement in Sector 1. And Russell's fifth. He's not improving so far as well. So I'm not seeing anyone right now improving on their times. A lot of yellows, no, not much in terms of green. Not anything major in terms of green. Song says feels wrong not seeing Danny. Yeah, it does feel a little off. Particularly, this is one of the places where Ricciardo did love to drive at. So to see him not be here and been replaced by, it's a little off. But bravo to Lawson for being in the right place at the right time to step up into this seat. I mean, right now he's 9th ahead of his teammate. He's like 10th and 1.5 faster than his teammate right now. That's big for Lawson. That's a good first step. Again, on top of that, I mean, basically a lot of what we're looking at is how is he going to qualify? Basically, we know that he has a 10-place grid penalty. I believe that is on the Grand Prix. So he's got a penalty to take because of how parts. Basically, he inherits all of the parts that that Ricciardo used. So it's by the parts is by car. So he's inheriting basically a parts penalty from Ricciardo. Someone asked, what do blue mean? So basically, when we look at the chart, so purple means fastest subsector, fastest time. Green means that the driver has improved on their time, but they're not necessarily the fastest. And then we are looking at yellows, which is basically the driver has not improved. Blue, so when we see blue at the end of Sector 3 means they come into the pits. Whereas when we look at Tsunoda, he came out of the pits and then came right back in the pits. So we see blue at the beginning of Sector 1 means they've come out of the pits. In this case, Tsunoda did a lap where he came out of the pits, then came right back into the pits. So essentially, when you do something like that, we call that an installation lap for the most part. There is one more color, it is red, and that means the driver has stopped on track. It means they're having a drink. No, that's a good call. That's a good guess, but that's not correct. So right now we got Oscar, Norris, Magnussen, Russell, the only 4 on track right now. We're under 15 minutes to go in this session right now. Again, you're listening to the Racing Statistics YouTube channel, and this is Grash with you, trying to give you as best as I can coverage of what is happening and why stuff is going on. The big piece right now is what is going on with Hamilton's car. He has not looked good this session. He's 18th. His best lap has been a 137.11. He's 3.256 off of the Max's fastest lap so far. So it's 3 seconds, three and a quarter off of Max is a big gap. We've got 5 people who are above 3 seconds. That's Albon, Gasly, Hamilton, Zhou, and Colapino. Colapino is not looking good. He's almost 4 seconds off. Having said that, Lawson is P9 right now. He's 2.2 off of Max's time, but he's also a tenth and a half off ahead of his teammate Yuki Tsunoda. Russell and Albon are on track. Colapino coming on track. So people are coming out right now. If you haven't liked and subscribed, now's a great time to do it. Liking, basically, if you like the channel, if you subscribe to the channel, basically you can get the bell and get notified when we go live for every session. That will include, basically every practice, the qualities, whether it's sprint or the Grand Prix, the sprint race, and the Grand Prix itself. We did do preseason testing. And we know that there will be, I think, 3 sets of 3 sets of 3 days next year for preseason testing. If it was either next year, it was definitely for 2026. There were the F1, the FII council, sporting council basically met this past week, and so we had some changes. The 2 big changes next year is that the single point for fastest lap is going away. And then the other change is that we have a rookie training where basically right now, 1 session for each car a rookie has to be in. So each team has to have 2, basically 1 or 2 people in has to have 2 sessions which they have a rookie in the car. They're going to double that. So basically, each car is going to have 2 rookies take place in FP1. So hello Abu Dhabi for rookie training in FP1. We will see. I wouldn't be surprised to see Mexico City being used for FP1 training as well. We know already for next week in Mexico City that Pato O'Ward, the basically McLaren's top IndyCar driver, is going to be in the F1 car next week for FP1. So that'll be interesting to see him in the car. Can it be the same rookie for 2 sessions? Yes, it can be. No, it's still FP1. Yeah, guys, you guys are like splitting gears. It's still FP1. It's still practice. But again, it's important because this is the only practice we're getting this weekend because it's a sprint race, and that's why the emphasis on this practice and what's going on is because again, we're looking at Hamilton. We're like, what's going on with him? He's 18th. He's over 3 seconds off pace right now in terms of his fastest lap. We saw that his car was seesawing, basically, not porpoising, but more seesawing back and forth. Yeah. So you guys don't split hairs. Don't worry too much. Don't worry about. Don't worry about. It being practice. It is practice. We can go back and find the Iverson tape of him talking about it being practice. So right now, with about 10 minutes left to go, we've got both of the Red Bulls, both of the Ferraris are out on outlaps. Lawson's out on outlap. Alonso's on outlap. Hamilton's on outlap, and Gasly. So we've got like almost half of the grid coming out right now in this next minute. Hey, it's Amy in chat. Basically said Pato will be attending the rest of the races. No one's in the ground. Yeah, Pato was on the F1 weekend roundup this week, and he did say that he will be at the wrestler, and it makes sense because the IndyCar season has ended. God, a month ago. And that was a crazy end of the season for IndyCar. Yeah, going into Nashville, that was a crazy. There's a lot of storylines. There was a potential for um, the leader in points to have been overtaken in the last race. That did not go well, did not happen, and Pillow eventually did would ultimately win the IndyCar championship for 2024. Rocky for the win, hoping for a Red Bull finish as a Mercedes fan. Colapino just put together a great lap. He's now fifth on the board, 1.393 behind Max's lap. Again, we've got Max. So again, that's saying Sainz is now cooking. Sainz is putting together a good lap. He's got two subsectors. Hamilton finally putting together a good lap. He's half a second off of Max's time, P2. Sainz right now coming along pretty quickly. He has his teammate and Lawson ahead of him as he goes through turns 12 through 16. So Sainz has the fastest second sector as he passes his teammate. And Lawson has just gone to P3 with a 134.588. So everyone is on softs at this point. So the gloves are off and we're all on softs. Sainz is going to take P1 136.602. That's a quarter second faster than Max's time. So we're the second person who's got in. He did it on soft tires with fastest sectors, second sector, and third sector. We've got Ocon moving up to seventh. Colapino has moved up eighth. Gasly has moved up to fifth. He is 7/10 off of 7.77 specifically off of Sainz's time. Hamilton is only 0.71 off of that time. So 6/10 faster. 600, I should say, faster. Alonso's about 2/10. He's moved up to third. He's 2/10 faster than Hamilton. Half a second off of Sainz. Albon has moved to seventh as he's second off. Still, Lawson is faster than Albon. And he's still fast. And then Yuki has not. He's just come out. He's doing an outlap right now. So right now, Lawson is sixth. Yuki's 15th. But Lawson advantage right now with Yuki to do a flying lap soon. No, VSC deployed. Ooh, what has happened? Ooh, what's happened? Radio miss entry. So Oscar missed something happened around pit entry. What the heck happened? We got 5 minutes to go. Yeah, so something happened and the pit lane had to be closed. Oscar managed to miss pit lane entry, missed basically had to go did a go around. They're not sure what exactly happened. So 5 minutes to go. Yeah, commentary on F1 TV doesn't even know what exactly happened. So on Lando's car, they are spraying down his wings with oh wow, more than just his wings. They're spraying down a lot of things with a green paint. This is called Flovis paint, and so basically they're going to send them out and they're going to see how the paint um, spreads and streaks on the wing, in order to get basically aerodynamic data from that. Practical pointing out that already times are already 1.1 second faster than last year's pole. Cook lap got very screwed by Verstappen. Yeah, yeah, but um, don't worry, we still have time for him to go around. So Sonoda's going to just jumped it to P4. He's 7/10 off of the lead. He is a tenth, 1.3, so 1300 hundredths faster than Lawson's time currently. Russell just jumped up to P7, pushing Lawson to eighth. Albin's still no, he's in the pits. Don't think he's come out. Is he out now? Is he out on parts? That's weird. What's wrong with drivers chat? We may have lost, or we may have lost the drivers stream for chat. So can Oscar win the race? Well, this is practice, and we haven't done quali yet, so it's still early. Stroll has jumped up to P10. He's 110 second off of, and he's like 200ths faster than Perez. We've got under 3 minutes to go in the session right now. Again, this is um, basically, again, this is the Racing Tickets YouTube channel. This is Crash. Why do they paint Lando's front wing green? Because they're using what's called Flovis paint. So they're going to send Lando out onto track, and they're going to see how it streaks. Hulkenberg, a really good lap, improved every sector. Some sectors green. He does P6, 134, 364. Magnussen just jumped up to P3. So Haas is looking really, in the end, this end section, looking really good. Magnussen under half a second for P3 right now. About a minute and 30 seconds left to go. A little bit more than a minute 30. But right now we got Sainz, Verstappen, Magnussen, Alonso, Tsunoda, Hamilton in that order right now, top of the board. Black and white flag for Cardi 1, failing to follow instructions. Oscar may have crossed the pit lane line, but he may have done so to avoid what is going on. Keeping to the correct side of the bollard at pit lane entry. So again, Oscar was a little screwy with the pit lane a few minutes ago when the VSD came out. I think pit lane entry may have been closed, so he will be pulled into the stewards. He will probably claim ultimately basically turn 90 involving cars. Stroll and Alcon noted safety car infringement. So yeah, there's all sorts of stuff that the stewards are now pointing out, that stuff that went on during this virtual safety car. I doubt that Oscar will get a talking to, but probably not. At worst, maybe a fine at worst. If that's the worst, if they do, is probably a fine. I don't think they're going to do anything else, because Barlow's asking if FP1 even matters. Yes, it does. FP1 does matter. Leclerc just went P2.021 behind his teammate. Uh, we've got Verstappen P3, Norris P4, Oscar P5, Hamilton P6, Magnussen P7, Alonso P8. So they really put that Flovis paint really heavy on Lando's car. I wonder why they wanted that so so thick. And time has expired in this session right now. We're just going to take a look. Russell right now is cooking. Tsunoda and Joe are in the pits. Just keep an eye on Bottas and Russell. Leclerc is coming around. He is it's a yellow lap. He's a cool down lap. Bottas is next. He did prove in his times. And Bottas is going to only move up one space to P18, ahead of Colapino. Albon and Russell. Russell moves to P7, does a 134.093. Lawson and Alonso are across the line. And well, that's nothing for those two. All right, so at this point, pretty much they've all gone around. Just check, yeah, Verstappen, Sainz, they're all in yellow. So this is now coming to set up for practice starts. With that said, I want to thank everyone who showed up. There's about 3,000 who showed up. We got almost 340 likes. Now the right time to make that like. So if you haven't liked and subscribed, now's the time to do it. If you subscribe, hit the bell, you'll get notifications when we go live again, which will be in a few hours, about 2.5 hours. We'll be live for the sprint quali, and I'll be here for that. Tomorrow we'll be doing again the sprint race and the Grand Prix quali, and then on Sunday we will be live for the race itself. I want to thank everyone here. Everyone have a good time. Why do we have a yellow flag? That must be a testing of the track. Yeah, so at the end of practices, you'll see that the stewards will go through a standard testing of procedures and whatnot. So that's why it just went from yellow flag back to green. That is the stewards testing the fact that they can go to a yellow flag. Given that they went through having a VSC earlier in the session, that makes sense that they do the yellow flag testing. No red flag, but did not expect it. This track is very forgiving. We saw Hamilton spin out. If he was on any other track, he probably would have hit the wall. Same thing with Russell. So again, our top three was Sainz, Leclerc, Verstappen. The Papaya boys were 4th and 3rd, and basically Mercedes was 6th and 7th. They were all with under half a second. Magazine on top of that, also under half a second. All right, this is again Grash for you for Racing Statistics YouTube channel. I will see you soon for the sprint quali. Take care. Have a good afternoon. Get a good lunch. We'll see you soon.
Hey guys, just quick reminder, you'll be taken right now to the sprint quali stream. If you can hit the like button there, it would be much appreciated. It really helps out. So I'll just take you to the sprint quali stream right now, and make sure to hit the like button there.